An ancient cave complex thought to date from Kievan Rus has been discovered in central Kiev at Voznesensky Uzvaz. Dmytro Parov, a conservationist at Kiev Center for Urban Development, told Radio Kultura that the caves were discovered next to a demolished house that Kiev housing authorities had deemed unsafe for habitation. Actually, Dmytro Parov followed his grandmother's clues. Parov's grandmother used to talk about a large stone house next to an old cave, but no one knew its location of it. According to Parov, who had previously examined the area several times, only the front fascia of the house remained, concealed by bushes. The conservationist told reporters that he and his friends decided to go to the old house on a small expedition to look for caves, and they discovered an entrance. The first archaeological explorations in the Voznesensky caves were carried out by Parov and a group of researchers from the Institute of Archaeology last Saturday. Timur Bobrovsky, an archaeology professor at the Sofia Kievska Reserve, said he was amazed that such a treasure was found in the center of Kiev after spending 3 hours exploring the cave. The team discovered pottery fragments from the late Kievan Rus era, an Eastern and Northern European state that existed from the late 9th to the middle of the 13th century, in the cave's northern section. Parov wrote on Facebook that the team scoured around 40 meters, 131 feet, of caves, including the lower cave complex, which he claims is twice as long as the upper passage and has a series of radial branches. The most significant discovery, according to Petrov, was a set of Kievan Rus hieroglyphs and Varangian symbols from the early Rus period, when the region was under the control of Varangian rulers. While more investigation is required to confirm it, according to Dmytro Parov, they think that some of the carved symbols may date all the way back to the 5th or 6th centuries BC. He says that animistic images of animals and graffiti from the various period, including the rune Algis, chicken's foot, were also discovered on the walls. This was an ancient Varangian charm, a symbol of safety and longevity. Several Hellenic Greek colonies were established on the northern coast of the Black Sea, on the Crimean Peninsula, and along the Sea of Azov between the 7th and 6th centuries BC. The steppe hinterland was occupied by the Cimmerians, Scythians, and Sarmatians who traded with the Greek/Roman colonies after a period of control by the Roman Empire during the 1st millennium BC. Rurik, a Varangian or Viking prince, established the Kievan state in the latter part of the 9th century. Up until the 13th century, his descendants established and controlled a global trade route to the west. However, the Kievan state was made up of East Slavic, Norse, and Finnic peoples, making it difficult to determine who left the carved symbols on the cave walls. Hellenic and Roman sculpture heads were unearthed in the ancient Carian settlement Knidos, located in the Datka district of Mugla province in western Turkey. In Knidos, which was a very advanced city of the period in science, architecture, and art, Eudoxus, an astronomer and mathematician, Eurofon in the field of medicine, the famous painter Polygnotos and the architect of the Alexandria lighthouse, Sostratos, lived here and brought many works to the city. Hellenistic and Roman sculpture heads were unearthed during the excavations carried out in the ancient city of Knidos, which the ancient Greek historian, geographer, and philosopher-writer Strabo of Amagia likened to a theater rising towards the Acropolis. The sculptures found in Knidos are one of the greatest discoveries made in recent years. Knidos ancient city excavations head professor Dr. Erdogan Doksanelti told Anadolu Agency, AA, that the work in Knidos, which raised many important people in ancient times, continues throughout the year with the support of the General Directorate of Cultural Heritage and Museums, Selçuk University, the Turkish Historical Society, the Governorship of Mugla and the South Aegean Development Agency. Stating that the Mugla Governor's Office carried out excavations in the Corinth Monument as part of the support for archaeological excavations, Doksanelti said. During the excavations carried out here, 5 heads of statues, the earliest of which date back to 2,400 years ago, and the others dating to the Hellenistic and Roman periods, were unearthed. A head with a depiction of the goddess, one of which belongs to Tyche, who was known as the protector of cities in ancient times, and the other colossal marble heads as a portrait aroused great excitement. The Corinthian monument and the statues found here are considered to be one of the greatest discoveries made in Knidos in recent years. Doksanelti stated that the excavation and landscaping work in the Umayyad inscriptions area is still going strong and that the new inscriptions discovered during the work and dated to the end of the 7th century AD provide important information about the Islamic conquests in western Anatolia and the region's history. Archaeologists from the Austrian Academy of Sciences have uncovered an early Byzantine business and gastronomy district at ancient Ephesus, located in the Izmir province of Turkey. Ephesus was built in the 10th century BC on the site of the former Arzawan capital by Attic and Ionian Greek colonists. During the Classical Greek era, it was one of 12 cities that were members of the Ionian League, emerging as a major urban center with monumental buildings that included the Library of Celsus and a theater capable of holding 24,000 spectators. The city was also famous as a sacred place for pilgrims visiting the nearby Temple of Artemis, which has been designated one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Ephesus, as part of the Kingdom of Pergamon, became a subject of the Roman Republic in 129 BC after the revolt of Eumenes III was suppressed. During the 1st century BC, the city entered an era of prosperity under Roman rule, becoming both the seat of the governor and a major center of commerce. According to the Greek philosopher and historian, Strabo, it was second in importance and size only to Rome. During recent excavations, archaeologists have discovered an early Byzantine business and gastronomy district on Domitian Square, a prominent public place directly adjacent to the political center of the Roman city, the Upper Agora. Byzantine shops and workshops were built over a large Roman square complex, with the team focusing excavations on a structure consisting of several business premises that covers an area of around 170 square meters. Individual rooms are preserved up to 3.4 meters high, containing thousands of pieces of ceramics, including whole bowls with the remains of seafood such as cockles or oysters, as well as amphorae filled with salted mackerel. Also found were stones from peaches, almonds and olives, and also charred peas and legumes. The team also uncovered 4 gold coins, solidi, in addition to over 700 copper coins. Archaeologists suggest that the excavated rooms functioned as a cookshop, a storeroom, a workshop, a taberna, and a shop for lamps and pilgrim souvenirs, indicated by the discovery of around 600 small pilgrim bottles that were sold to Christian pilgrims. The destruction layer is likely the result of conflict, with several arrowheads and spearheads also being excavated that the team links to the Byzantine-Sasanian War of AD 602 to 628, a series of wars fought between the Byzantine Empire and the Sasanian Empire of Iran that left both empires crippled. Archaeologists from Mola, Museum of London Archaeology, have uncovered an ornate 1,300-year-old gold and gemstone necklace during excavations in Northamptonshire, England. The necklace was discovered in the burial of a high-status female burial from the early medieval period, during preliminary works in preparation for a housing development by the Vistary Group. The necklace, described as a once-in-a-lifetime find, has 30 pendants and beads made from Roman coins, gold, garnets, glass, and semi-precious gemstones. A rectangular pendant with a cross motif forms the centerpiece of the necklace and is inlaid with red garnets set in gold. The find is part of a collection of grave goods still being investigated that has been dubbed the Harpole treasure, based on the name of the local parish. Experts have stated that the female burial is one the most significant from the period ever discovered in Britain. Similar early medieval necklaces have found at other sites across England, with the closest parallel being the Desborough necklace, found in Northamptonshire in 1860 and now in the British Museum's collections. Levant Bensbolish from Mola said, "When the first glints of gold started to emerge from the soil, we knew this was something significant. However, we didn't quite realize how special this was going to be. We are lucky to be able to use modern methods of analysis on the finds and surrounding burial to gain a much deeper insight into the life of this person and their final rites." Archaeologists also found 2 decorated pots and a shallow copper dish, while X-rays taken on blocks of soil lifted from the grave, that are currently being micro-excavated, shows an elaborately decorated cross, featuring highly unusual depictions of human faces cast in silver. The skeleton has fully decomposed, leaving only tiny fragments of tooth enamel. However, the researchers believe that the woman may have been an early Christian leader of high standing, or possibly an abbess or royalty. Mola conservators are currently analyzing the finds and are looking for traces of organic remains within the burial. It is possible that the woman was placed on a bed within the grave and traces of soft furnishings may be found. Liz Mordew, archaeological advisor for North Northamptonshire Council, concludes, "This is an exciting find which will shed considerable light on the significance of Northamptonshire in the Saxon period. It also serves as a reminder of the importance of archaeology in the planning and development process." A rare collection of bracteates, thin, single-sided medieval coins, has been dug up by a dog near the city of Wałbrzych in southwestern Poland. Experts say the items, which date back to the 13th century, are the first such large discovery in over 100 years. The Wałbrzych branch of the Lower Silesia Heritage Protection Office was alerted by the owner of the dog, named Kecz, about his rare find earlier this month. They immediately dispatched a team, including archaeologists from the University of Wrocław, to investigate. The person who contacted us was out walking the dog. Anna Nowakowska-Sutra, the Wałbrzych Heritage Protection Officer, told Gazeta Wyborcza. Kecz started digging in the earth, and that was how he reached the jug with the coins. The objects turned out to be medieval bracteates which were preserved in a damaged earthenware pot, the Lower Silesia Heritage Protection Office explained. Preliminary findings date the find to the first half of the 13th century and suggest that the coins were minted in Brandenburg, Saxony, or Silesia. Finding a significant number of coins from this period is an exceptional occurrence, added the office, because new currencies could be issued as often as 2 or 3 times a year, with previous sets of coins being melted down and reminted. The discovered coins are in excellent condition, with mostly clear prints and little damage. Poland's biggest collections of bracteates have previously been in Warsaw and Krakow, but the area of the new find will now become a mecca for medievalists, the Heritage Protection Office predicts. For now, however, they do not want to reveal the precise location of the discovery, to discourage amateur metal detectors from arriving, reports Gazeta Wyborcza. Bracteates, from the Latin bractea, meaning a thin piece of metal, were used as coins in medieval times. They were printed on the obverse, with a concave negative of the image on the reverse. Featuring representations of animals, fantastical designs and elements of architecture, they are an excellent material for medievalist studies, says the Heritage Protection Office. The idea of stamping coins from a thin plate was caused by the low availability of silver or, more rarely, gold, and the reserves of the mint. Kings, dukes, and bishops could mint coins, the Heritage Protection Office explains. Only with the discovery of silver deposits near Prague did the euro of medieval Europe, the Prague groschen, begin to be minted, which gradually took over from bracteates. The coins are archaeological heritage and will therefore eventually make their way into a museum rather than onto the numismatic market. First, however, they need to be properly studied and conserved, which will require time as well as academic grants. As for Kecz the dog, with his skills in mind, archaeologists are already making inquiries about his participation in excavations, the Heritage Protection Office joked.